Maya was a seamstress in the coastal village of Porto Verde. She lived in a small wooden house with a tin roof that leaked when it rained. Money was always tight, and she struggled to feed herself and her 2 children. Her husband had passed away years ago, leaving her alone to face life's challenges. One early morning, before the sun rose, Maya carried her plastic bucket to fetch water from the stream near the village. The air was cool and fresh, and the sound of waves crashing against distant rocks filled the silence. Maya preferred going early to avoid the crowds and return home in time to prepare breakfast for her children before they woke. After filling her bucket with clean water, she lifted it carefully and started walking home. She decided to take the shortcut through the coastal path because it was faster and she wanted to get back before sunrise. As she walked along the sandy trail, she noticed 3 fishermen standing under a palm tree. They were talking and laughing, holding their nets and wearing their fishing gear. Maya greeted them politely. "Good morning, fishermen." The men responded coldly, barely looking at her. They were too busy with their conversation. As Maya continued walking, she overheard one of them say, "We're going to be rich now. I can't believe we caught the pregnant mermaid near the stream. We'll get double the money for this one." Another fisherman laughed. "Yes, they say if a mermaid is pregnant, the magic inside her and the baby will bring us plenty of money. We'll sell them to the wealthy merchant in the city." Maya's heart raced. Pregnant mermaid? Double money? Sell to a merchant? Her mind swirled with questions as she carried the heavy bucket. She walked faster, but worry consumed her thoughts. As she approached the path leading home, she heard a soft crying sound coming from behind some mangrove trees. Maya stopped and placed her bucket on the ground, listening carefully. "Help! Help me!" a weak voice called out. Fear gripped Maya. Her legs trembled and her heart pounded. She looked around but saw no one. Slowly, she walked toward the mangrove trees, and what she saw left her speechless. There, tied to a tree with thick rope, was a beautiful woman with long wet hair and glowing skin. Her eyes were filled with tears, and she looked exhausted and weak. Her belly was swollen with pregnancy. Maya looked down and froze. Instead of legs, the woman had a long silver tail shimmering in the dim morning light. Maya stood face to face with a pregnant mermaid. The mermaid lifted her hand weakly toward Maya, tears streaming down her face. "Please help me. They will kill me and my baby," she pleaded in a trembling voice. Maya stepped back in fear, her body shaking. Every instinct told her to run. She had heard village stories about mermaids who steal souls and bring danger. But the mermaid before her didn't look dangerous. She looked helpless, scared, like any woman who needed help. Maya glanced around quickly. No one was in sight. She took a step closer, her heart racing. "Please help me. They'll come back soon. I don't want to die." The mermaid begged again. Maya bent down and whispered, "Are you really a mermaid?" The mermaid nodded through her tears. "Yes, and I'm pregnant. They caught me when I came to the stream at midnight. They tied me here to return later. Please help me." Maya's heart filled with compassion. She saw the mermaid shivering, with bruises on her arms where the rope cut into her skin. Suddenly, Maya heard men's voices nearby. She turned quickly and saw shadows moving through the bushes. "They're coming," the mermaid whispered, terror in her eyes. Maya's mind raced. Should she help this creature escape? Should she run away and save herself? The voices grew louder. The fishermen were laughing, saying, "We'll take her before anyone else wakes up." Maya's breathing became heavy. She knew if they found her here, they might harm her too. She looked at the mermaid, still begging with desperate eyes. Something inside Maya sparked. She didn't know where the courage came from, but she stepped closer and grabbed the rope around the mermaid's hands. The mermaid flinched in pain, but looked at Maya with hope. Maya tried to untie the rope, but it was too tight. Her fingers shook as she worked at the knot, listening to the footsteps coming closer. "Please, please, please," the mermaid kept whispering. Sweat formed on Maya's forehead. Her heart beat like thunder. Her hands moved frantically to loosen the rope. The fishermen's voices were now very close. "Let's check on her," one said. Maya's eyes widened. Her bucket sat on the ground nearby, a clear sign someone was around. She looked at the mermaid, and the mermaid looked back. In that moment, Maya knew her life would never be the same because of what she was about to do. Just before she could untie the last knot, the footsteps stopped very close to them, and Maya quickly hid behind the tree. If you're enjoying this story, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next upload. Share this video with someone who loves amazing stories. What would you do if you found a mermaid? Let us know in the comments below. Maya's heart pounded like a drum. Her hands trembled and sweat ran down her back despite the cool morning air. The mermaid breathed heavily, tears streaming down her face as she looked at Maya with fear and pain. Maya closed her eyes and whispered a prayer. God, please help us. Don't let them find us here. Just as the fishermen were about to round the mangrove tree, one of them suddenly shouted, "A dolphin! Look, a dolphin near the rocks." The other fishermen stopped immediately and spun around. Where? Where? They yelled. There! Swimming toward the deep water, the fisherman pointed with his net toward the ocean. The men forgot about the mermaid momentarily and ran toward the shoreline, shouting and calling to each other. Their boots pounded on the sand as they rushed after the dolphin. Maya's eyes widened. This was her only chance. She rushed from her hiding place back to the mermaid. We must go now before they return, Maya whispered urgently, her fingers working fast to untie the rope. The rope was rough and strong, hurting her fingers, but she didn't stop. The mermaid whimpered in pain, but watched Maya with hopeful eyes. Thank you, she whispered weakly. Maya finally loosened the last knot, and the rope fell away. The mermaid's arms dropped to her sides, and she leaned against the tree, too weak to support herself. Maya looked around quickly. She could still hear the fishermen's voices near the water, but they would return soon. The mermaid tried to move, but collapsed, her silver tail brushing against fallen leaves. Please help me, she whispered. Maya bent down, wrapped her arms around the mermaid's waist, and tried to lift her. The mermaid was heavy, and Maya wasn't strong, but she gave it everything she had. She placed the mermaid's arm over her shoulder, and the mermaid leaned heavily against her, the baby bump making movement difficult. They moved slowly, step by step, trying to avoid dry leaves that would make noise. The mermaid winced in pain, breathing heavily and holding her belly. Ah! The mermaid groaned softly. Maya looked at her with pity. She didn't know how long it would take to reach her house, but she couldn't abandon the mermaid now. Every 5 minutes, Maya had to stop and rest. She would carefully lower the mermaid to sit on the ground while she wiped sweat from her face. Her bucket of water remained behind, forgotten. She had to focus on getting the mermaid to safety. The morning sun began to rise, and birds sang louder. Maya's dress was soaked with sweat and her back ached, but she kept moving. The mermaid cried softly, her face pale and her hands cradling her swollen belly. Please don't leave me. I don't want to die, she kept whispering. I won't leave you, Maya promised. Even though her body screamed in exhaustion and her legs shook, she continued forward. They passed through narrow trails, avoiding places where villagers might see them. Maya feared that if people spotted the mermaid, they might call the fishermen or bring trouble. They stopped to rest under a palm tree, and Maya checked the mermaid's face. Are you okay? She asked gently. The mermaid nodded weakly, tears rolling down her cheeks. After catching her breath, Maya gathered her strength and lifted the mermaid again. They continued their slow journey, resting and moving until finally they reached Maya's small wooden house at the edge of the village. Maya carefully pushed the door open and looked inside. Her 2 children were still sleeping soundly on their mats. Relief washed over her that they hadn't woken yet. Maya helped the mermaid inside and laid her gently on the floor covered with an old mat. The mermaid groaned in pain, her hands on her belly, her tail lying weakly across the mat. Maya looked at her with concern. The mermaid's body was swollen in places, with red marks where the rope had bound her. I'll bring warm water, Maya said softly. She quickly went outside, heated some water over her small fire, and poured it into a bowl. She dipped a clean cloth into the warm water, squeezed it, and gently placed it on the mermaid's swollen arms and shoulders. The mermaid flinched but soon sighed with relief. Maya continued massaging the mermaid's body with a warm cloth, wiping away dirt and sweat, pressing gently on her back. "Thank you. Thank you," the mermaid kept whispering through her tears. Maya felt both pity and fear. She didn't know what would happen next or why the mermaid had come to land, pregnant and vulnerable. The room was quiet except for the mermaid's soft groans and the crackling of the fire outside. Maya looked at the mermaid's large belly and wondered what kind of baby was inside. She didn't know, but she knew she couldn't let the mermaid die. The mermaid opened her eyes weakly and looked at Maya. "My name is Luna," she said softly. Maya was surprised. "Luna? That's a beautiful name." "My name is Maya." Luna smiled weakly, though tears still filled her eyes. "Thank you, Maya. I will never forget this," she whispered. Maya nodded, holding Luna's hand gently. Suddenly, they heard footsteps outside the house, and Maya's eyes widened in fear. She looked at the door, then at Luna, who tried to sit up but was too weak. Maya placed a finger to her lips. "Don't make a sound." They both listened as the footsteps approached the door. Maya's heart raced as footsteps approached her door. She quickly looked at Luna, the pregnant mermaid lying weakly on the mat. Luna's eyes filled with fear as she clutched her belly, her silver tail folded beneath her. The door suddenly creaked open. Maya rushed forward and pushed it back, using her body to block whoever was outside from seeing inside. "Who's there? Why are you opening my door like this?" Maya demanded, breathing heavily. Standing at the door was Senora Rosa, the village gossip. Everyone knew her as the woman who loved poking her nose into everyone's business. She stood with one hand on her hip and the other trying to push the door wider, stretching her neck to peek inside. Maya blocked her view with her body, spreading her arms across the doorframe. Senora Rosa raised her eyebrows and tried to look over Maya's shoulder. "What are you hiding in there, Maya?" she asked suspiciously. Maya forced a laugh. "Hiding? What'd I be hiding, Senora? So early in the morning." But Senora Rosa persisted. She leaned left, then right, trying to see inside. Maya moved with her, blocking like a wall. Maya, you're acting very strange this morning," Rosa said, clicking her tongue. "Are you hiding something? Or is there a man in there with you?" Maya's eyes widened in shock. "A man in my house? Senora Rosa, what kind of talk is this so early in the morning?" But Rosa wasn't ready to leave. She pressed her face closer, her eyes sharp and searching. "I only came to borrow your bucket," she said, folding her arms. Maya gasped. She remembered the bucket she'd left in the mangroves while rescuing Luna. She couldn't give it away now because the fishermen might be looking for the owner. If they discovered she had taken the mermaid, it would bring terrible trouble. Maya swallowed hard and forced a smile. Senora, I'm using the bucket now. I can't lend it out. Please." Rosa raised her eyebrows and hissed. "You're using it now? For what? You're hiding something, Maya. I can sense it," she said, leaning closer, her eyes narrowing. Maya's heart pounded. She pressed harder against the door, blocking every gap Rosa might use to see inside. "Senora Rosa, what exactly are you looking for?" Maya asked firmly. Rosa shrugged and snapped her fingers. "I just came to borrow your bucket, but since you're behaving like this, maybe you are hiding a man in there." Maya's mouth fell open. "A man? Me? Senora Rosa, please leave my property. Stop talking nonsense." Maya waved her hands, shooing Rosa away. Rosa clapped her hands and shook her head, turning slowly. "Maya, I'll come back later. Let me see what you're hiding in this house of yours," she said, walking away but still glancing back. Maya watched until Rosa disappeared from view, then quickly shut the door and leaned against it, breathing heavily. She turned and saw Luna looking at her with fear and confusion, tears in her eyes. Maya moved to her side and sat down, touching her hand gently. "Don't worry, she's gone. You're safe for now," Maya whispered. Luna nodded, holding her belly and breathing heavily. "Thank you, Maya. Thank you," she whispered back. Before Maya could respond, she heard a loud gasp inside the house. She spun around and saw her son Diego standing there, mouth wide open, eyes bulging. "Mama! Mama! What is that?" Diego shouted, pointing at Luna on the mat. Maya's heart sank. Luna tried to cover her face with her hands, tears streaming down. Maya rushed to Diego and placed her hands on his shoulders, trying to calm him. "Diego, please don't shout. Please calm down," Maya said, her voice shaking. Diego's eyes remained wide, trembling. "Mama, what is that? Why does she have a fishtail? Is she a witch? Is she going to eat us?" he cried, stepping backward. Maya felt tears gathering in her own eyes. She didn't know how to explain this to her young son. "She's not a witch, Diego. She's a mermaid, but she needs our help. She's not here to hurt us," Maya explained, kneeling to his level. Diego shook his head, tears falling. "Mama, the elders say mermaids take people's souls to the ocean. They say mermaids are dangerous," he said, sniffing and wiping his tears. Maya hugged him tightly. "Diego, not all mermaids are bad. This one is sick and pregnant. The fishermen wanted to kill her and her baby. We can't let them do that. We must help her," Maya whispered in his ear. Diego's body shook as he looked at Luna, who lay on the mat, her silver tail shimmering in the dim light. Luna slowly removed her hands from her face and looked at Diego with tears in her eyes. "I won't hurt you. I promise. I just want to be safe," Luna said softly. Diego swallowed hard, staring into Luna's eyes. Maya held his hand tightly. "Please, Diego, promise me you won't tell anyone. If people find out, they'll take her away and kill her, and they'll punish us too." Diego looked at his mother, then at the crying mermaid, then back at his mother. He nodded slowly, tears still in his eyes. "I won't tell anyone, Mama," Diego said softly. Maya hugged him tightly, kissing his head. "Thank you, my son," she whispered. Diego looked at Luna again, his eyes softer now. "Are you hungry?" he asked shyly. Luna managed a weak smile, gratitude filling her eyes. "Yes, thank you," she whispered. Maya stood up quickly, wiping her tears. She moved to prepare some warm porridge for Luna. But deep inside, fear gnawed at her. She knew Senora Rosa would return, and if she discovered the mermaid, the whole village would know. The fishermen would soon realize the mermaid was missing and begin searching every house. Maya didn't know how long she could keep Luna safe, but she knew she had to try, because deep in her heart, she sensed this wasn't just any ordinary mermaid. This was something bigger, something spiritual, something connected to her family's destiny. The sun climbed high in the sky as Maya finished washing her children's clothes and sweeping her compound. She tried to act normal, but fear churned inside her. She kept thinking about Luna hidden in her house and Diego's promise not to tell anyone. But she knew the fishermen would come searching, and they did. Hours later, 3 fishermen with stern faces entered the village, asking everyone they met who had gone to the stream early that morning. Someone had left a bucket there, but nobody knew who it belonged to. The fishermen described the bucket and location, but no one had information. The fishermen hadn't seen Maya's face that morning, so they couldn't identify her. They went door to door, knocking and asking, "Did you see who went to the stream early this morning?" Everyone said no. The fishermen grew angrier, convinced someone in the village was hiding something. Finally, they arrived at Maya's small wooden house. Maya was grinding cassava when she heard a loud knock. Her heart jumped. She wiped sweat from her face with her apron and went to open the door. The 3 fishermen stood there, looking frustrated and tired. "Good afternoon," Maya greeted them, trying to smile. "Good afternoon," one fisherman replied coldly. "We're looking for the woman who went to the stream early this morning to fetch water. She left her bucket there." Maya's heart raced, but she controlled herself. She took a deep breath and replied calmly, "I don't know who went to the stream this morning. I've been here since early morning, grinding cassava." The fisherman peered inside the small house, but saw nothing suspicious. Maya stood firmly, praying silently they would leave. After a few moments, the fisherman shrugged and walked away from Maya's compound. Maya quickly shut the door and leaned against it, her chest heaving. She knew she couldn't keep the mermaid in her house much longer, or the fisherman might return with permission to search. That night, when the moon shone bright and stars twinkled in the dark sky, Maya called her children, Diego and his younger sister, Sophia. Diego, Sophia, she whispered, Mama is going somewhere. I want you to lock the door from inside and don't open it for anyone until I return. Mama, where are you going at night? Diego asked worriedly. I'll be back soon, my son. Just do as I say, Maya said, touching his cheek. The children nodded. Maya covered Luna with a large blanket, wrapping it around her to hide her tail. She opened the door carefully, looked left and right to ensure no one was watching, then carried Luna on her back like a child. Luna was weak, but managed to wrap her arms around Maya's neck. Maya carried her through small trails toward the stream, her heart pounding with every step. Fear gripped Maya as she walked. Every sound from crickets and frogs made her heart jump. She feared meeting someone, but she kept moving forward. Finally, they reached the stream. Moonlight reflected on the water, making it look silver and magical. Maya approached the water's edge and carefully placed Luna down by the bank. Luna breathed heavily, her hands on her swollen belly. Thank you, Maya, she whispered, tears rolling down her face. You saved me and my baby. Maya knelt beside her, tears in her own eyes. I pray you'll be safe, Luna, Maya said. Luna managed a small smile and slowly crawled into the water. As soon as the water touched her tail, it glowed brilliantly and her strength returned. She turned and looked at Maya one last time. Maya, your kindness will never be forgotten, Luna said softly. Then, with a gentle splash, Luna swam away into the stream, disappearing beneath the dark water. Maya stood there for a long time, staring at the quiet stream, the moon dancing on its surface. She turned and walked back home, her heart heavy yet peaceful. She had done the right thing. She had saved a life. 2 lives, actually. As she approached her house, the weight of the past day finally hit her. She had risked everything, her safety, her children's safety, her reputation to help a creature most people feared. But when she looked up at the stars, she felt no regret. Only hope that Luna and her baby would survive and thrive in their ocean home. Maya slipped back into her house quietly. Her children were asleep, peaceful and safe. She lay down on her mat, exhausted but unable to sleep. Her mind replayed the entire day, from finding Luna tied to the tree to releasing her into the stream. God, Maya whispered into the darkness, I did what I thought was right. Please protect that mother and her child. She closed her eyes, finally allowing herself to rest. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight, she had peace knowing she had chosen compassion over fear. The village continued sleeping, unaware of the extraordinary event that had taken place. The fishermen would continue searching for their lost treasure, but they would never find it. And Maya would carry this secret with her, a beautiful, dangerous secret that connected her to a world beyond human understanding. 7 days passed since Maya had released Luna back into the stream. Life returned to normal in the village. Maya continued her work as a seamstress, stitching clothes for villagers and barely making enough money to feed her children. The fishermen eventually gave up searching for the mermaid and moved on to other catches. Senora Rosa occasionally threw suspicious glances at Maya's house, but without proof of anything unusual, she eventually stopped her intrusive visits. One night, Maya woke up needing to use the outdoor bathroom. She tied her wrapper around her waist and opened the door quietly to avoid waking her children. As she stepped outside, she stopped suddenly. In front of her door, illuminated by moonlight, sat 3 wooden chests. They seemed to glow with an otherworldly shimmer. Maya looked around quickly. No one was in sight. The village was completely silent. She bent down and touched the chests. They were real and surprisingly heavy. Confused and frightened, Maya carried the chests inside her house one by one, placing them in the corner. She couldn't sleep for the rest of the night, staring at them and wondering, who left them? What's inside? Should I keep them? Should I wait for the owner to claim them? She decided to wait. Days passed, but no one came asking about any chests. Finally, curiosity overcame caution. Maya opened the first chest and gasped. It was filled with gold coins, shimmering in the lamplight. The second chest contained beautiful coral jewelry and silver ornaments. The third chest held precious pearls and gemstones she had never seen before. Maya's hands trembled as she touched the treasures. She immediately knew where they came from. Luna, the mermaid, had kept her word. Your kindness will never be forgotten. Tears streamed down Maya's face as she realized the magnitude of the gift. This wasn't just wealth. It was a new life for her and her children. But Maya was wise. She didn't tell anyone about the chests immediately. She slowly began selling small pieces of the treasure to merchants in the neighboring city, careful not to draw too much attention. With the money, she first repaired her leaking roof. Then she bought better clothes for her children. She purchased a larger sewing machine and more fabric, expanding her seamstress business. She started eating nutritious food every day and ensured her children attended the village school properly. Gradually, people in the village began noticing changes. Maya looked healthier and more radiant. Her children, Diego and Sofia, wore nice clothes and seemed happier. Maya's house, once the smallest and poorest in the village, became neat and well-maintained. Months passed, and Maya's transformation continued. She bought a larger house in a better part of the village. She hired 2 assistants for her sewing business, which had grown significantly. She became known for creating the most beautiful dresses in the region. Maya became the wealthiest woman in Puerto Verde village. But she never forgot her roots. She helped other poor families, giving them food and sometimes money. She sponsored children's education and organized community projects. She became beloved not just for her wealth, but for her generosity and kindness. Whenever anyone asked, "Maya, how did you become so wealthy?" she would smile mysteriously and say, "Kindness always returns. Help others when you can, and blessings will find you." Some people were curious, especially Senora Rosa, who couldn't understand how a poor seamstress had become rich overnight. Rosa spread rumors that Maya had stolen the treasure or that she had a secret lover who gave her money. But Maya didn't respond to the gossip. She continued living her life with grace and generosity. Every night, Maya would sit outside under the moon and look toward the stream, smiling and praying for Luna and her baby. She wondered if Luna had given birth safely, if the baby was healthy, if they were happy in their ocean home. Sometimes, when Maya went to fetch water from the stream, she would pause and look into the water, hoping to catch a glimpse of silver scales or hear a familiar voice. She never saw Luna again, but she felt her presence, like a guardian angel watching over her family. Maya taught Diego and Sofia the importance of kindness and compassion. She told them stories about helping those in need, about looking beyond appearances, about having courage to do what's right even when it's difficult. "Children," she would say, "always remember that the greatest treasure isn't gold or jewels. It's the kindness in your heart. When you help someone in their darkest moment, you create light not just for them, but for yourself too." Diego and Sofia grew up understanding these values. They became known in the village as kind and generous young people, just like their mother. Years later, when Diego had grown into a young man, he asked his mother, "Mama, what really happened that morning? How did we become wealthy?" Maya looked at her son, now tall and strong, and smiled. She told him the entire story about finding Luna, the pregnant mermaid, tied to a tree. She told him about the fishermen, about carrying Luna through the trails, about releasing her into the stream, and about the 3 chests that appeared 7 days later. Diego listened with wonder, remembering that morning when he first saw the mermaid in their house. "So it was all real," he whispered. "The mermaid, the magic, everything." "Yes, my son," Maya said, "and the lesson is simple. Kindness is never wasted. When you help someone without expecting anything in return, the universe has a way of blessing you beyond your imagination." Diego hugged his mother tightly. "Thank you for teaching me to be kind, Mama." Maya smiled, looking up at the stars. Somewhere in the vast ocean, a mermaid named Luna was swimming with her child, living freely because one poor seamstress chose compassion over fear. And that, dear friends, is how a poor woman who saved a pregnant mermaid became the wealthiest woman in the village. The end. Thank you so much for watching this incredible story. If you enjoyed it, Please give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories like this one. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our uploads. What did you learn from Maya's story? Have you ever helped someone when it was difficult or risky? Share your stories in the comments below. We love reading them. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. Let's spread the message of kindness together. Check out our other amazing stories in the playlist below. Until next time, remember, kindness always comes back. Stay blessed. ***.